Hello and welcome to episode 25 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
And Jeff, how are you doing this week?
Pretty good. Been busy. School. I assume the same for you.
Yeah. I have exams coming up. Not too happy about that.
I got done with mine.
that is good. I'm trying to, it's the balance of life between trying to be into games, trying to run a gaming podcast, trying to watch football, and trying to also not fail your classes.
And try to watch, online things, YouTube-related things, and TV shows, and
basically you end up having to throw socializing with other humans out the window.
That's easy for me. No one's socializing me. You're the only one.
It's pretty easy to, there's the hierarchy of things. That's the first one to go. Yeah. And that's that's how that works. But Jeff, we have a pretty packed show this week.
We do.
So let's get into it.
Okay.
Let's get straight into it. I did get to play some games this week, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
My goal for after last week was to play episode 1 of Life is Strange Before the Storm, and I did.
Oh.
It was, and I have some impressions. It was really, really, really good. I expected it to be good just from what other people had said, and I was, in case anyone listening doesn't know, this is basically a prequel to Life is Strange, and it was following Chloe and Chloe's relationship with Rachel. If you played Life is Strange, and I was a little worried because this is not Don't Nod that's making this game. I think it's Deck 9. I think it's the name of the studio that's making it. And it's, different voice actress because of the whole,
the
strike.
Voice actor strike.
Yeah, voice actor strike thing or whatever. So there was some reasons to be worried, and the whole prequel thing. Do we need to know the story? But now that I'm in here, I really think we do need to know the story. That's kind of what I'm, walking away from it with. I feel like already with one episode, I feel like I know Chloe better than I did before. And I feel like even people, some people don't like Chloe that much. Yeah. I didn't like Chloe at the beginning of Life is Strange. By the end, I kind of liked her because it was just she was just kind of a lovable,
lovable goofball.
A lovable, angsty high school kid. And that's definitely all over this. But it's a very emotional game, obviously, Life is Strange is. And I really do think it does a good job of capturing being a high schooler and what that means, and the awkwardness, the trying to find yourself, all that stuff. I think it nails it. It nails it just as much as Life is Strange did. And it has sometimes people criticize Life is Strange for some of its corny writing, but I'm just think back to when you were in high school.
Yeah.
I think I did stupid stuff like this, and I talked stupid. I thought that I was cool. And
hella stupid. Come on.
And I think that you, for the most part, I think we've had conversations about this, that you agree that, I think people are too critical of it, because I think it's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah. It's about teenagers. It's supposed to be corny and cringy.
It was, because I was
corny
to
a point. Yeah. It can exceed the point where it's just too corny, too cringy, but I think it met the line fine.
And to be fair, it does sometimes. Some of the writing, I'm all right, no one would actually say that, not even the teenager. But for the most part, I think it nails it, and I really like Rachel's character is also really, really fascinating. So, very excited to continue on with it.
I've not played it yet, but I've always been I have not been of the opinion of this whole thing that prequels don't matter or don't need to be made. I was like, hey, I like this story. I want to know more about this story. Who cares if I generally know the outcome? How we get there and learning more of these characters, that's why this thing isn't being made. And that seems, from this is a general thing you said, they're doing so far.
Right.
Yeah. So, I have not played Life is Strange despite it being one of my
And I think there's enough mystery behind, Chloe and Rachel that you don't, I guess you know how it ends, but, there wasn't anything in this that I already knew before. There was a lot of stuff that, and I feel like we're filling in the blanks. It's one of those, I think by the end of this, I think it's going to actually, and this is obviously just episode 1 of 3, there's going to be more coming out, so who knows. But I feel like it's going to be one of those that makes Life is Strange better. Because you get to go back and you know what Chloe went through, and you can probably sympathize with her.
I'm going to take a guess here. And based on timeline, you're going to learn more about how her relationship with her stepfather got to where it was.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, too. Yeah. A very, very big part of it.
Yeah, I didn't know, but I assume.
A big part of it is David and her father. Yeah, that's a very, very, very big part of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I think me and Jeff are going to try to do a spoiler cast on Life is Strange. Maybe with Will.
Because he played Life is Strange recently, so maybe he'll do before the storm.
So I'm going to go more in depth with when we do that. But
at least when we both play, we can discuss it.
Right, yeah. But for right now, I recommend it. It's definitely recommend it. I mean, maybe if you want to wait for them to come out, that's what I would have done if I didn't have a gaming podcast where I had to talk about it. I probably wouldn't be playing them one by one and having to wait for them. But this is the sacrifice I make.
Well, I was going to pre-order either way because I wanted to...
That Max.
Yes, the Max thing.
Yeah. So. All right, well, I think that's about it for me.
Okay, so for people who may not listen last week or don't remember, I had plenty of goals. 1, play Life is Strange like Darby. Did not happen. 2, play Persona. Did not happen. 1 goal I did complete, though. I played Mario plus Rabbids. Of course.
Yes.
My goal was to get done with the second world and then complete all the side missions for that world. I did that. Or at least I think I did 1 or 2 left in there. So, about there. So, since there are supposed to be 4 worlds in general, I'm halfway through the game.
Okay.
So, that's where I'm at now. Still loving it. It's still impressing me. I'm starting to get my preferred team picked out.
Mm-hmm.
So
is Peach Rabbit in there?
No.
Jeff.
You might be surprised who it is, Darby. It's Luigi and Rabbit Luigi. They're so good. At least the way I got them set up, it just works so well.
I'm just surprised you didn't go full team Rabbit.
Well, you can't because you got to keep Mario. I think I mentioned this. My one main complaint of the game is you're limited in your team options because you got to have a Rabbit on there. And you have to have Mario at all times. Wow. So that really can limit to what you can do. I mean, it's not the biggest deal, but I wish I could play around with it a little more.
Yeah, I always wish you had more freedom.
Yeah, but honestly, even if the rules weren't the way they are right now, this probably still would be my team.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm interested to see if this is the preferred team for a lot of people.
That's awesome. I really can't wait to play it at some point.
Yeah.
I at least want to mess around on your Switch at some point and play the first few levels. Or do
I mean, if you want to at least know the basics, you do the 2-player thing.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
It's just everyone won't stop talking about this game in a good way. I'm not saying I'm getting tired of it. I love it. I loved it. This game is shaky everyone so much.
And we'll talk about it a little later. It comes up in the news a little bit. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
Okay.
Well, you have any other Mario plus Rabbids?
No, not really much. So I can, without going against the spoiler territory of stuff I haven't already said before.
Right.
So,
Right.
So yeah.
All right. Well, that was a very quick one. I think it's time to get into the news, which we have a lot of.
We do.
News jingle, Jeffrey.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Thank you.
That was just a joke at the beginning, and it's just sticking for some reason.
You like it now, admit it. Jeff's coming around on it. Jeff likes the jingle.
I've never been against it. I just find it funny.
It really was a complete just joke,
yeah.
Spontaneous joke, and now it's just something we do.
So why not?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get started. Okay, for people who may not have known, TGS, aka Tokyo Game Show, was this past week in Tokyo.
Yeah.
I guess there weren't that many big things announced. The main thing I think of is the Sony press conference, where it's where the next couple things the news should come from.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if we missed anything that was announced outside of it that was big, but this is all that me and Dari personally can remember seeing that important.
Yeah, and Jeff and I, just the nature of this podcast, we don't necessarily cover everything. We kind of covered a lot of the things that we want to talk about and that we feel like we can talk about intelligently.
Yeah. And
there's just lots of stuff coming out of TGS that just not, can fall through the cracks.
A lot of it was just some general updates. So
right. Some
stuff not worth talking about unless we really care about it. You'll know what kind of stuff that is later. Okay, so we'll get started. These are 2 articles kind of put together by Andrew Goldfarb and Alan Skieladov from IGN. Okay, during Sony's Tokyo Game Show conference, Square Enix teased a new game called Left Alive coming to PS4 and Steam in 2018. Square Enix describes the game as a brand new survival action shooter set in a dark and gritty world. Former Metal Gear character designer Yoji Shinkara, currently also working on Kojima's Death Stranding, will handle character design for Left Alive, and the game is directed by former Armored Core director Toshifumi Nabashima. I think I pronounced that right. That sounded Japanese. Former Metal Gear and Xenoblade Chronicle X mech designer Takayuki Yanase is also working on the game, which is produced by Final Fantasy producer Shinji Hashimoto. I didn't recognize these names to begin with, but once I saw they worked on, it's like, this is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, yeah. The mech designer for Xenoblade Chronicle X got me excited.
It's kind of like a dream team.
Yeah. I know Chronicle X, opinions are kind of mixed overall, but a lot of people, I think, can agree the mechs are cool.
Yeah. It's if you're gonna pull someone for a mech-based game, that's probably a good place to go.
Let's see, and this is starting the second article of this. Square Enix's new action survival shooter Left Alive is set in the Front Mission universe. As confirmed by Weekly Famitsu, translated via Gamatsu, Left Alive uses the same world of the Front Mission series and takes place between the tactical RPG series' 5th entry and the Front Mission evolved in the year 2127. And producer Shinji Hashimoto said, "We wanted to make a Front Mission with a new lineup. We started this new title to see Front Mission in a slightly different perspective." And then it also has been confirmed Left Alive will contain 3 playable characters, which are the 3 protagonists you see on the game's key visual. Throughout the story, you'll bounce between each character, as they're isolated in the city Left Alive takes place in, which is somewhere in Russia. Front Mission's Wanzers, the walking-type mobile weapons from the series, will also make an appearance in Left Alive. You'll have to battle them, as well as a Wanzer... steal a Wanzer away from the enemy. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Left Alive will also sport weapon crafting, some replayability elements with choices that will have an effect on the story, and a stage-based structure. The developers are hoping for online elements, but nothing's set in stone just yet.
Okay.
It sounds pretty cool overall.
It does sound pretty cool. And I think it was on Beyond this week. They were talking about, and I never really thought about this, but they're kind of, it's a weird thing, but I feel like there's not a whole lot of mech games, or at least not anymore. I feel like there used to be, with Armored Core and some other ones. I feel like there used to be, but
recently there's the
Titanfall, I guess, is kind of
Titanfall, kind of Xenoblade, but that's a very niche thing, and that was on the failing Wii U. Let's see, Gundam games, but those usually don't get really here. There was actually a pretty decently looking cool Gundam game in that TGS thing, but it's Japan only.
Yeah, usually Gundam you have to import it if you want it, and there's a lot
sucks because I don't know if they're good, but Gundam games have the potential to be really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of it anyway.
But I've never thought about the fact there's not many mech games, but there kind of aren't. So.
Saying the same thing with PUBG and the Battle Royale thing.
Exactly. It's something that's why aren't there these,
But I guess the only thing I'm kind of about this is it kind of being set in a different series, but it seems to be a separate thing to where me not playing it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like one of those is just set in the universe, but it doesn't really seem like the story matters too much with it. It almost seemed like an afterthought. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's in this universe.
Yeah. But it seems this is kind of story focused and all those names attached to it and everything, and even though I'm not the biggest shooter guy in mechs and everything, I'm interested in this game.
Yeah,
based on what we're hearing.
It's weird. I feel like there's not usually not very often do we have super groups in game development.
Yeah.
Usually you don't have this many kind of big names working on one project. I kind of wonder what that is like on the development side of it when there's all these different people from all these different big name people who have big jobs like this. I wonder how that works. I could almost see it being troubling for trying to get stuff done when everyone is pulling in different directions. But it could also work amazingly. Who knows?
It's also very interesting, and I get it. Just knowing what these people worked on, the fact they made a big deal in the trailer. The name of the character designer, the mech designer. Yeah. I mean, these guys are a big deal.
That first trailer was just basically all names. There was this cool backdrop, and it was just, look at all these names.
Yeah. And, hey, another Square Enix console exclusive for the PS4.
Yeah. Square Enix is churning out stuff. Yep. And it's cool to see, Square Enix Japan working on something that looks this cool. It's just like I feel like they've been like
That
falling
has,
behind.
depending what they
so.
do, if it could do pretty well in the West, I think.
I think it has like just from like the visual style of it looks. I mean, it looks like it could be a Western AAA RPG type thing. It doesn't.
And the gameplay style that we know, just based off this.
It doesn't scream Japanese in the way that turns off Americans.
Yeah, I'm gonna check one thing real quick. Blah blah blah. Okay, I was checking to see if there is any like gameplay that may have been released from TGS. It doesn't like there's anything here.
Maybe something to look out for.
Yeah, we will definitely talk about that.
We should need more mechs, Jeff.
I mean,
mechs are fun.
Mechs are fun, Darby. Oh yeah,
Nerds at Large hot take. Mechs are fun.
Yeah, you know what's also, where mechs are fun, Darby? In Bomberman games. They announced some new updates for Bomberman, and they have like mechs in there.
Mechs.
Zone of the End or whatever.
Okay.
So, and quickly people were like, at this point, you guys better put in Snake and Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh.
In mechs.
Yes.
So, I guess that's also Zone of the Enders, isn't it? Being remastered. That was like
Oh, no, it's being released in VR, and I guess being remastered.
Oh, okay.
I did not put it in here because we didn't have much to say on that, I guess.
No, I don't really.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's happening. That's really cool. That's one of those kind of games that if I got VR, I'd be interested in just based on the premise.
Yeah. I mean, it's another thing. It'd be cool. Mechs and stuff like that with VR. Seems awesome.
But it can also make you sick, depending.
Yeah. Lots of VR things seems like it'd make you sick.
Okay, so it's time for us to move on, and we will definitely talk about Left Alive more when we get more information.
Definitely something I'm interested in.
Yeah, and definitely the biggest thing that come out of there.
Yeah.
But another big thing that come out of there, this comes from Eddie McCook from GameSpot. During Sony's Tokyo Game Show briefing, Square Enix officially confirmed that Final Fantasy IX is coming to the PS4, and better yet, it's available now on the PlayStation Store. In the US, it's even available at a discount for a limited time, dropping its regular price of $21, weird price by the way, to $16.79 until September 26th. So, it probably will be on the time you hear this, sorry.
Wait.
Maybe. Well, I guess depending when we get it up, because we're recording already.
Until September 26th? It's 21st right now.
Wait. Okay, yeah.
I'll probably put this out a little bit earlier than normal since by the way, we're recording on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Because just timing, life got in the way. But this was really cool. Just the fact that like this announcement kind of would have been like, okay, whatever. But the fact that it was like it's on there today, like it's the shadow drop part.
Again, it kind of sucks. Cool. I think I told you this earlier. It leaked because it was rated. Yeah. So it's not surprising it was there, but yeah, it's available now was a big surprise.
Yeah, and I felt like that was the thing. That's the thing I heard first from TGS because everyone who was Final Fantasy IX fans were freaking out that hey, it's available right now. And I think it has some like added bonus like stuff to it other than just
I think it has like a theme that looks really cool at least. That may not be what you're talking about, but I know that's a thing.
Yeah, I think it has some other like in-game like things that like some new things to it because this has already been like remastered for like PS3 and stuff, or like
or at least I think it's for PC, or like the remastering stuff maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like, I bought it on PS3. It might not have been the remaster, but either way, this is a game like a lot of people love. Final Fantasy IX. I only got a few hours into it. It was good. I don't know why I stopped. I just stopped. It's Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the last of an era of Final Fantasy games because obviously 10 was kind of a turning point. So it's definitely cool. I like to see other like Final Fantasy. Not that 9 is like this niche game that no one played, but obviously I love 7. But 7 gets like 7 gets
all over the place.
Yeah, 7 gets like all of the attention. Yeah. So people who like 9 is their favorite, they kind of get left behind.
Yeah,
so
I think you would agree. I mean, this is just me looking. It seems like the top Final Fantasy game people say their favorites are 7, 9, and 6.
yeah, so. I would say so too. And there's a whole group of people that say 10, and there's also a group of people who hate 10. But
yeah, but those seem to be the top 3. So it's good that one of the big 3 we just say getting love.
Yeah,
and I will probably get to some point just so I have it. Because I do want to play this game.
Some of those it'd be good to have.
Yeah. And,
I kind of regret buying it on PS3 since I didn't actually end up playing it because I would rather have it on PS4. And I'm not going to buy it twice. So I'll probably just, if I want to play it, I'll drag out the PS4. I mean, the PS3 out of its closet and wipe off the dust. Which I probably should do at some point, Maybe when I'm old in a retirement home and finally have time to play, I can play Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah, maybe. Someday. Okay, are you ready to move on?
I am.
Okay, this comes from Joe Scrabbles from IGN. Monster Hunter World will be released worldwide on January 26, 2018 for Xbox One and PS4, with a PC release to follow at a later date. Capcom has announced a series of special editions, pre-order bonuses, and a PlayStation 4 special edition. Normally, we sometimes go over all that stuff, but we're not going to today, partly because there's a lot to go over, and because as far as we've seen, there's been no word if this is coming to the West or not, or this is just a Japan thing right now.
Yeah, so don't want to spend too much time on it if it's just going to be a Japanese thing. But if you want to see if you're really interested in Monster Hunter World, go check it out.
PS4 Pro special edition looks cool.
It does look very cool. And usually, I mean, it's kind of a topic for another day, but the vast majority of special PlayStation consoles look like garbage. They usually, it just looks like a PS4 with a sticker on it. Yeah. But this one actually does look really cool.
So yeah, big news. This is coming out in January.
Yep. I hope it still hits it. I hope it's able to hit that.
2018 starting strong.
Yes.
We're not getting the game, but just because it's not the kind of game I want to play. Just because it's okay. The trailer showed a little more story stuff, but I know this is weird for me saying since I just played Zelda. Monster Hunter is a little too aimless for me. I've played Monster Hunter games. I'm not like I'm new to this. I played multiple of them like on my PSP. No. I really like them, but not the kind of game I just want to play right now.
It just that E3 trailer didn't do anything for me. I just don't think it's my game. But a lot of people are very, very excited for this game.
I mean, I have no doubt this game's gonna be great.
Yeah, for its audience, I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm sure I'd love it, but yeah.
Limited time.
Yep.
And that time period's already looking packed again.
Yep.
Is this just going to be like the rest of our life with gaming? Is every year just going to be packed like this one? Because I'm never going to get any of my gaming done if that's like my backlog's just going to get so big.
Yeah, we're just going to have to make some tough choices.
All right, Jeff.
I just realized I think that's like the same day as Dissidia maybe, or right around there. But moving on.
Which also not getting, but kind of for different reasons.
Oh yeah, something else real quick because I said it and it was announced at conference. Noctis is confirmed for Dissidia.
Oh yeah.
Okay, moving on.
To the surprise of no one.
Yeah. Okay, this comes from Alex Osborne from IGN. Dragon's Crown is officially coming to PlayStation 4. After being leaked earlier this month, Dragon's Crown Pro was formally unveiled during Sony's Tokyo Game Show press conference. According to the announcement trailer that debuted during the conference, this enhanced version of the PlayStation 3 and PS Vita title will feature 4K visuals and will be released for PS4 in Japan on January 25th. As far as I know, I don't think they've said when it's coming out of the West, or I guess at all, but there's no reason it's not.
Okay.
I assume.
Okay.
Probably should look that up. I apologize.
Sloppy reporting, Jeff. Come on.
I put this together at the last minute.
I'm totally kidding.
But yeah, this was cool. I played some Dragon's Crown. Pretty fun. Pretty fun game.
When did the last Dragon's Crown? Like
this is like a remaster.
Yeah, when did it come out?
I don't know when it came out. I think I got on PS Plus at some point, or I played it with a friend or something. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun.
I don't know much about it. I just know people talking about it.
You probably recognize the big busted witch lady. Seems like she shows up everywhere.
We love big busted witch ladies. That's
pretty iconic.
That's what this podcast is all about.
Indeed. Okay. Ready to move on, Darby, to the last TGS story?
Yes.
Okay. Not much to read on this. It's just the fact that during the conference, they showed a new trailer for the Shadow of the Colossus PS4 version.
Yeah, remake, whatever they're.
It looks like a remake to me.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah.
They probably said it officially at some point.
I mean, like, you definitely can't call it a remaster. It's it's a way more.
Well, the remaster with the PS3 version.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's basically a remake.
Yeah.
I thought it looked awesome. I think. Yeah. I mean, just especially for. I think we've talked about it on this podcast, but it was a long time ago. me especially, but I think both of us kind of, like, I played Shadow of the Colossus back, like, on the PlayStation 2, like, a long time ago when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it, and I've kind of, like, went my whole life talking about how it was, like, this overrated game and everything. And I kind of think that still to agree, but I do think a lot of that was just me being a dumb kid.
Yeah.
And being, like, impatient or, like, not really understanding, like, artsy games like that.
Yep, but now we talk about a lot of artsy games.
We do. So I think now my opinion would be would be different. But but regardless, just any of that, like, the game looks stunning, and it's pretty incredible seeing these colossi, yeah, looking as beautiful as they do, and although, like, this is not anything for sure because they have not shown much, but it looks like they're staying true to everything I see.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like the old game, just better. I mean, and it probably looks like what people remember Shadow of the Colossus looking like.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely more interested with this. One thing they have to, if you loved Shadow of the Colossus before, go back and play it. The controls do not hold up. That is the one part of that game. The controls are almost so bad that the game's, like, almost not playable in 2017 because the controls are just terrible. So they have to address that in this.
I told you this when we were talking about it earlier. I think if I hear the controls are fixed, I might be in on this game.
Yeah,
unless it's like $60 maybe, then I'd wait.
yeah. I wonder. I'd guess like 40, but
yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that, but Sony's been pretty good about the pricing stuff, so I would assume it'd be at most 40.
Yeah, but this is a beefier, thing than some other, like, just remake things. I mean, it's, they kind of had to build the game from the ground up. Like, I doubt they used, they had to, like...
Yeah, but some of the other $40 games, they've had this Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, like,
Uncharted.
I agree it probably will be. I'm just saying, it's one of those that kind of depends on time period, like when it comes out and stuff. It might be something, but.
I mentioned this to you also when we were watching the trailer. They said 2018 at the end of this trailer. If I was a betting man around PSX time, which I may not be, stay tuned. I would bet that they're going to announce a release date for this at PSX for, like, the first half of next year.
First half.
That's what I'm.
You think it's coming that close?
I think so. Why not?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know how long they had been working on it by E3, but I just always assumed this game was going to be a little further out than that.
Maybe there's something that, says otherwise, but I would think first half.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right.
Because I guess I don't have any reason to say that. I don't know. It just kind of feels like it, especially they're showing off new things again this soon.
Yeah.
I imagine they'll do a PSX and then...
I could see it being later next year, but I mean, I could see it though.
This is the thing with this kind of game; it doesn't need as much of a what's the right word? Promotion or whatever.
Marketing cycle.
Marketing cycle, because people who know this game know this game.
Yeah,
I mean everyone should knows what this is.
You're advertising pretty much mostly, if not exclusively, to people who love the previous one. People who like.
All I need is shows a little beefier trailer at PSX and maybe have a tiny gameplay demo there so people can get their hands on it and people give some impressions and then release it a couple months later. That's all you really need for this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Unless it really isn't as far as long as it might look.
It's kind of no way to tell really right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope you're right.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
But, again, context for another thing, I'm very interested to see what Sony's first party release schedule is going to be for next year.
They have between
God of War, Spider-Man, Detroit, Days Gone.
I mean, like, I imagine maybe one of those is going to be 29. Well, I don't know.
I don't think any of those can be at this point, right?
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
it's context for another time.
And they already have, like, Last of Us Part 2 for 2019, probably.
Yeah.
So
and games we don't know about.
Yeah, exactly. Death Stranding.
Sucker Punch game. Okay.
It doesn't exist, Jeff.
True. Okay. This not really a news story, I guess, kind of, sort of. I guess it's kind of us talking the trailer like we just did. It's kind of video game related. Yesterday, right?
Yes.
So on Wednesday, September 20th, the Tomb Raider movie released a trailer. So since it's video game related, we figured why not talk about it.
Yeah. So I guess if you want to, like, we're just going to talk about our impressions of the trailer. So if you want to pause the podcast, go watch that trailer. It's like 2.5 minutes or something.
General movie trailer length.
And come back. So we'll wait. Have you done it?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. We're back. All right. What do you think? I'll let you go first. What do you think about this trailer?
Generic. Seems like she's a Mary Sue. The last 5 seconds where she got those guns from the guy from Shaun of the Dead did not fit the rest of it. Nothing stood out. And then part of me thought, I don't know why I thought this, and it's like, I hope that Uncharted movie dies. I feel this. I feel like they can't really do much anything different than this.
Exactly. No, I mean, this is like, I kind of want to have a main topic at some point. I am one of those in the camp that, like, I don't know if we need video game movies. I really don't even think it's necessary.
I think in general, like, they can be okay, but it's certain ones I can't even maybe potentially name on the top of my head. Even then, you just got to really play around with it. Right. But I don't think it can be completely off limits. But I just, again, topic to get more in-depth. I think the way they've been doing it is so far is wrong.
Well, and especially with like Tomb Raider and Uncharted, I'm not saying that the stories are bad, but they're kind of one of those.
It worked because of the video game.
They fit in the video game context. But if you strip the interactivity out of it, then it just basically becomes like an Indiana Jones clone, kind of.
Yeah, and when these movies are made, they don't change them enough or add enough substance to it to make it any good.
And usually half the time they always feel like they're being made by people who don't actually love the game.
Yeah.
Half the time. And going like back to just this trailer, I mean, my first initial just like throw away my attachment to Tomb Raider and the game movie thing, all that out of the way. This looks like a cheap movie. It just kind of looks.
I tried to find the budget earlier. Where can I find it?
It looks like a low budget movie. It kind of does. Like the actors just don't the actors don't look like they're dressed right. They just kind of like the lighting looks bad. Like everything just looks kind of cheaply done.
Yeah.
The effects, the like props and like settings and stuff just don't look good. And my biggest complaint about this movie is like it can't decide whether it wants to be the really emotional and kind of like realistic game storyline, like recent, like reboot, like 2013 in Rise of the Tomb Raider, like reboot storyline, or if it wants to be the Angelina Jolie like Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah,
it can't decide.
That's where my whole Mary Sue comment came in, because she suddenly went to the kind of normal smart girl whatever to badass. She's immediately shot and killed someone without hesitation. It's like, I know that kind of happened in. I mean, I guess we would have to see in the movie the context. I know that happened kind of in the games, but really showed to where she reacted.
But it kind of did. I mean, like,
I was like, she reacted to like the first thing.
I was about to say, my immediate thought is I'm thinking about Tomb Raider. I remember whenever like she had to kill a deer or whatever to like for food and everything, and she like cried about it and stuff. And it was like, because like it was never like in Tomb Raider in the games, like she was just this kind of like emotional beaten wreck who was just trying to save her friends and get out of here and stuff. And it was kind of an emotional tale, and I love that Lara. I feel like that Lara, the old Lara Croft games, like the old Tomb Raider games are fun, but like the story's dumb, and Lara Croft in those games is just dumb. And I like her a lot more the way she is in the games. I like her being a badass because of her, what she's able to do, not just gunslinging, like sassy, all this. I'm like, come on, guys.
Going back to that last 5 seconds or whatever when she got the guns, I had the thought, like, where's this supposed to fit in the movie based on what they show? That it's supposed to happen before the island? Is this on the island or wherever she's stranded in? Where's this supposed to happen?
Who are these guys? Like, why are they selling good? Like, where's the shop? They just look like normal people. Like,
exactly. It stands out so much. It's weird. I mean, it might fit in the movie, but they did a bad job doing it in the trailer.
No, and it's just like it's an obvious call to the Angelina Jolie movies and stuff.
Well, and the old school games with the dual pistol.
Yeah, and I wish that there was absolutely no trace of those movies or those games. I want that it to be non-existent in this movie, and like you can't have both. You can't make a movie that's both of them, and they're trying to do that as well.
Well, based on this trailer.
Based on this trailer, Based on this trailer, it seems like they're trying.
Well, says this Laura looks, when dressed on the island thing, looks like the one from the new games. Says that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem with the way she looks or anything, or necessarily her as an actress. It just seems like the tone of the movie is off, and the people that make it are trying to do two different things, or trying to, I don't know. It looks like, and I've seen some people, I've been surprised how some people are like, oh, this looks like finally the video game adaptation, or it looks like so much like a video game. I'm like, does it?
At best, it's a generic action movie.
To me, it just looks like it has a lot of the problems that I've seen plenty of other video game movies struggle from. This looks like kind of like the Assassin's Creed movie. This doesn't look any different.
Dari, you dreamt that movie. That movie doesn't exist.
It feels like it.
Ubisoft will never mention it again.
And I have a feeling this movie, the people that are getting their hopes up, I think you're going to get your hopes crushed. I think it's not going to be good when it comes out. But we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I'm
always surprised when these movies actually come out, like with Assassin's Creed and us getting a trailer for this, because all I hear about these movies is they're happening, and then they disappear.
Yeah.
So I'm always shocked that these things actually
That Uncharted thing has been under 3 or 4 different directors. And and they did shady things where they were like, oh yeah, Naughty Dog's really cool with it, and then they talked to Neil Druckmann and other people, and they're like, they haven't talked to us at all. We have not talked to them at all. I don't know what they're saying. It's that's not good. That's not good. Anyway, we spent more time on that than I thought we would, but
where do we become where we dissect trailers like that?
That's gonna be our entire. We're just gonna be trailer cast.
Yep.
We're going to spend the next 3 hours talking about the latest Tomb Raider trailer.
Yep.
The only way we could have the only thing that would be worse than us just becoming a long form trailer discussion podcast is if we sat here for 3 hours and talked about the Apple press conference. It's the only thing that would make this worse in my head. The only thing that would make me want to die.
Why would we watch the Apple conference?
We wouldn't, but I'm just saying. So, people listening, if you ever want us to be that kind of podcast, I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Okay, Darby, you really mind? We spend longer than I thought.
Yeah, let's move on.
Interesting discussion, but
I agree.
Okay, this comes from Sam Stewart from IGN. Cross-platform play is something various game companies have experimented with over the past few years. And over the weekend, Fortnite players on PS4 and Xbox One got to experience it as the result of a network issue. The issue was first discovered by Reddit user Precision, who noticed something strange while playing Fortnite's Battle Royale mode on his PS4. He was killed by a user named ZCypher9, a tag that would not be possible to create on PSN because it contained a space. Craziness right there.
Detective here.
Intrigued by this discovery, Precision switched over to his Xbox One and did some digging, quickly discovering a user with the same name on Xbox Live, as well as a teammate that ZCypher had been playing with. Precision documented his evidence in a Reddit post, which contains Twitch clips and screenshots of his discoveries. Seeing as PS4 and Xbox One crossplay is unheard of, most users assume that Epic had enabled crossplay with PC and the tags were simply coincidences. However, Epic quickly confirmed that PS4 and Xbox One crossplay had indeed happened accidentally, as a result of a configuration issue. Epic says that the issue had not been corrected. Quick side note, Fortnite's PUBG Battle Royale mode will be available for free starting September 26th.
Fortnite is sponsoring this podcast. That sounded like an ad, but
I try because it's funny that way.
God, I wish it was an ad. I wish we were sponsored by anything. First off, props to this guy. He's a regular sleuth out here.
I wouldn't have noticed that.
That's some awesome detective
Okay, I'm going to be
work.
honest right now. I didn't know PSN names can have a space because that's something I don't care about.
I didn't either. So that's first off.
Yeah.
Second off, all right, Jeff. Cross-play between Xbox and PS4 is...
What have we been talking about for months?
Yeah, we've been talking about on so many different podcasts. It's so easy to do that you can accidentally do it. Yep. A developer can... Whoops, we did cross-play. That's how easy this is to do.
Yes, apparently it is.
And in Rocket League, it said, like, if Sony gives us the go-ahead, we can have it up in under an hour. They said under an hour. And I think there's been some other developers that have been like, yep, it would take us, like, a few days, maybe. And that's it. Yeah. Like, so, I mean, like, this is a kind of another, I can't form an analogy, Jeff. I'm so sorry. I failed you, Jeff.
Get out.
Can you forgive me?
Get out of my house.
It's another step towards like Sony. Like Sony's gonna have to give in eventually.
Yeah,
that's what we've been saying.
We're saying this every time, man. Yeah, just when are they gonna do it? I mean, like we've said a million times, they technically don't have to because they're ahead or anything, but why not do it for the goodwill? And no one buys the whole children argument. That's stupid.
No one does.
Especially when they do it between PS4 and PC.
Did you see? I don't know if it was in this article. It might have been a different one. They showed. Have you seen Phil Spencer's tweet?
Oh, I meant to put. Yeah, that was on one of them.
I forgot exactly what he said.
Let me try to.
If you look it up, I can just talk about. In the meantime, while you're looking for that, I do want to talk about, we are going to, that, like Jeff said, the PUBG, like Fortnite we talked about last week. Fortnite has basically just a PlayerUnknown's Battleground clone mode. It's just basically PUBG, exactly. And that's going to be free to play on September 26th. 26th, yeah, that's next Tuesday. So, hopefully for next podcast, but if not that, then the one after that, me and Jeff will have impressions about this because we're going to try to get together. You know, we are console plebs, so this is our only way. This is our closest thing to experiencing PUBG. So we're going to try to get
at least until it comes out on Xbox, then at least I can play it.
Yeah. So we're going to try to get some friends together. So we will let you know what we think about that. But this is one of those things, you don't have to listen to us to know if it's worth buying or not because you don't have to pay for it. It's going to be free. So if you want to check it out, if you have a PS4 or an Xbox, right?
Wait, what?
Fortnite is on X. Yeah. Oh, yeah, duh. We're talking about the crossplay thing. Right. I am sorry, podcast listeners. I am pretty dumb.
Oh, yeah. Phil Spencer pretty much said I would have liked to see them leave it on. Oh, yeah. I guess also, I was thinking of putting this in the news, but I guess congrats to Phil Spencer. He got a promotion, kind of.
Yeah. I didn't, yeah.
I'm inserting a bunch of news we didn't put on here originally.
That we just kind of like fell into.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got moved. It was like something about Microsoft leadership. There's only like 16 people in it or something.
I guess that, everyone's talking about, the Xbox division is dying. I guess this might be, I guess I don't know everything about this, obviously, but proof that they want to keep that around.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer's a cool guy, so.
He seems like an awesome dude, so it's very cool to see him get that. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, if you want to move on from this.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're going to another interesting topic. This comes from Rachel England from Engadget. Review bombing in the gaming community is a woefully old concept, but after it took the spotlight again this month, following yet another racist outburst from YouTuber PewDiePie.
Which... You can go to nerdsatlarge.wordpress.com and read my article on the PewDiePie racist outburst. Anyway, go ahead.
Plugging! Valve is taking action to mitigate the damaging effects it can have on game developers. Instead of single review scores, game pages will now be accompanied by a histogram displaying a visual history of user reviews. In a lengthy blog post on Steam's community page, UI designer Alden Kroll says changes to user reviews have been in the works for a while. He then lays out the options that Steam has toyed with, ranging from changing the way a score is calculated to simply removing scores altogether. In the event, he says, "We decided not to change the way that players can review games and instead focused on how potential purchasers can explore the review data. Each game page now features a histogram of both the positive and negative reviews submitted over the lifetime of the game. Click on any part of the histogram and you'll be able to read a sample of reviews from that period. The linking is, if it's a potential purchaser, you'll be able to spot temporary distortions and then investigate why that distortion happened. Take Firewatch, for example. Its reviews fell off a cliff after Sean Vanneman, from the game's developer Campo Santo, publicly denounced PewDiePie for his troubling comments. As Kroll says, you can then decide for yourself whether it's something you care about. The new system also has the benefit of allowing players to see how games' reviews have evolved over time. I think that's pretty much repeating stuff. Okay, that's pretty much just a bit.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, this is not actually really a fix. This is something you're basically like review bombing's happening. So you're just basically you're just telling the consumer to go research about it. Like they're acting like they're giving some like cool like big solution to it, but they're giving you a chart of this happening, and you have to as the consumer be like, oh look, the review suddenly got bad there. Let me go look, detective research all this and do that for every single game, and you have to know like when happened what. I don't know about you, but I don't really think that's that much of a solution.
I mean, in general, this is, I guess, a cool thing just to get more information about games potentially.
I mean,
but a fix for this is no.
No, it's not a bad feature.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really stop. It doesn't help review bombing, really.
No.
And
because people really care, they're going to do that anyway.
And I want to be upfront. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not saying that there's no easy solution for this.
Yeah.
It's something you kind of like... You want this to be an open public forum where people can like share their opinions, but that also means there's going to be, people who try to mess with that and people who like take advantage of that and do this for dumb reasons. Just like Sean Vanneman denouncing PewDiePie has literally nothing to do with the quality of Firewatch, and that's where you get to review bombing is annoying in that respect. So I don't know. Like I think I guess it's good that Valve is trying to do something, or at least they're acknowledging that there's a problem there.
Mm-hmm. Again, like you said, I don't know what the fix for this is. I thought I had some idea because people who don't know, and I might not have the facts exactly right because I don't use Steam. I think after is it a 2-hour period? Is that right? Or whatever, like once you buy a game, you have up to 2-hour period to return the game as part of it, and
or something. Yeah, let's say if you played more than 2 hours. Yeah.
And also, you have to buy the game to review a game, which makes sense.
Yes.
So what people are doing, is for stuff like this, is buying Firewatch, doing the little review, and then returning it. I figured my quick idea from the other 5 seconds was, hey. If someone returns it, take away their review. But then people brought up a very good point of if the game's broken and they obviously broke in the beginning, write the review and then return it, the bad reviews would go away or whatever. Or,
the only people who could
that makes perfect sense.
The only people who could leave a bad review is someone who bought the game and kept it even though it was bad. Yeah.
And that's away my idea. So again, I have nothing
it's not really too and Valve even thought about they've juggled different solutions, and I guess really in my the only foolproof solution I can see is taking away the numbers, the number, the positive or negative, whatever. But people want that. People want the number. They don't want to people prefer that over reading the reviews. Mm-hmm. So most of the time, or at least just in a broad look at it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's one of those things.
Yeah, again, I'm not envious of Valve being in this situation because, again, there's no easy answer to this.
There's not. From what I've seen, people have talked about it, there's usually what it kind of seems like happens with these review bombing things, because usually, this usually only happens to, pretty big games. Games that are big enough to get noticed, and there's enough people angry about something the developer did to go do this. It happened to Bethesda with Fallout 4. I forgot for what, but people were mad at them for something, and they review bombed them. And Firewatch even.
They're at least scattered one.
Firewatch is Firewatch is indie, but it's still pretty big indie. So usually, I think review bombing will affect the positive or negative or thing or whatever at first, in the short term. But from what I've seen, a lot of times that ends up going back up. Usually there's not long-term effects from review bombing. It's usually just kind of right at the moment. It still sucks because so if someone just gets on Steam and they don't know anything about this, about Sean Vanneman and this whole controversy, and they just look at it and they're like, oh, Firewatch must not be that good. I'll pass it when It kind of sucks. I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose of the review scale when people are negatively putting down a game for something that has nothing to do with the game.
Yeah. People suck.
People do suck. That's kind of just a general rule.
Yep.
So good luck, Valve. I mean, I don't want to like completely crap on. Yeah, I don't want to completely put Valve down because.
I mean, again, we can't come up with. We're not thinking it's technically that hard, but we can't come up with a solution.
No.
Like, other than
I'm sure that they thought about a lot of things. And this is the best.
Mine is nuking everything, and it's not much. I don't
and
think
it's something. I guess that it does help. It's better than nothing that you can look and you can be like, okay, well maybe this is why. Maybe like if you see just all positives and then it just suddenly dips down, you might be like, oh well, maybe that's
Again, like this article started out saying, review bombing isn't a new thing. This isn't the first time it happened. It just came up again because something big happened.
Right.
So, I mean, Valve probably has been looking at this for a while.
Yeah. And they're like, this is the time, let's just do it.
Yeah, and they still haven't been able to cover anything because it's hard to. But yeah. Okay, so let's move on. This comes from Owen S. Good from Polygon. 1 week after surpassing 1 million concurrent users on Steam, PlayerUnknown's Battleground has now set the all-time record for concurrent players.
Woohoo!
PUBG's continue breaking them records. The game, which again is in early access, peaked at 1,348,374 concurrent users. Says today. I guess it was earlier this week, like Sunday or Saturday or something. Displacing Valve's published Dota 2 for the top figure all time.
God, so many concurrents.
The old record was 1,291,328 users on Dota 2 playing the game in March 2016, according to Steam charts. Last week, PUBG breached the 1 million mark, more than 25% better than Dota 2 at 745,000 at the same time. No, also good for Dota 2 for continuing still to be strong.
Oh, Dota 2 is huge and it's been huge.
PUBG has already sold more than 10 million copies. It remains to be seen what, if anything, the full release can add to the player base when that happens for PC at the end of the year and Xbox One next year. Wait, is it next year now? I don't know. I can keep up with their
The full release.
Oh, full release, yeah.
The Xbox One this year is still early access, so yeah.
This is all very confusing.
It is. It's a game that sold 10 million copies, but it's not technically a released game, and it's like, yeah.
This game.
It's crazy.
But that's a very good point. Like, what will happen with will things continue to go up when it goes on sale? What's stopping from people who want it, who are on Steam, from getting it now?
Yeah. I mean, what are the sales figures going to be like exactly? Like,
yeah.
I mean, is it just going to keep rising like that, or
it's going to be at an all-time low?
I'm guessing
when it comes out.
Early access people will get it, like will automatically have it or something.
They already have it. It'll just upgrade.
I just wonder, like from there, where will it go, or will it be substantially different?
I can't imagine many people are waiting to buy it at least on Steam until
apparently no one is. Yeah. Like it's blowing up more than like. Yeah. I mean, this is one of those things, and it's kind of been a steady rise just throughout the summer leading up till now.
For the rest of the year,
this is March. This is one of the biggest. I don't want to sound like hyperbolic, especially because we're talking about video games. But I don't know any other way to put it because it sounds hyperbolic. This is one of the biggest gaming phenomenons in our life, that we've seen since we've been following the industry.
Yeah.
This is kind of this is like the Wii going out or whatever. And it's not that level, but this is crazy how many people are, and because it's a type of game that we haven't seen
I'll
before.
say this.
And there's a lot of things
they kind of put it in, I guess, maybe context of it being one of the biggest, in our lifetimes, kind of we've had smartphone games like Angry Bird and stuff. Yeah. We've had Minecraft, we had the Wii. But that all stuff appealed to mainstream. PUBG technically doesn't appeal to the mainstream as far as I know. As far as people who are really into games, obviously this is happening on Steam, really into games. I'd say it's the biggest phenomenon in just the gaming circle.
In the hardcore games. Yeah. Because even though it really PUBG kind of has no mainstream appeal as far as angry, as far as just again, random people who don't play. Random people who don't play the games, but it's still getting these kind of numbers, which is crazy. And it's probably only going to get, at least through the year, it's probably only going to get more and more and more. And then especially if it releases and that somehow feels like something new, even though I don't even know, if it keeps going, it's going to get crazy.
Again.
And we've already seen GTA make a mode like this. Fortnite's making a mode. It's going to change a lot in the gaming sphere,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we can easily... may not all shooters because it won't fit some of them. Well, they might have it anyway. This will probably start being a staple mode.
Probably. Kind of like Horde mode. It's going to become like I think the first Horde mode I could think of was like Gears of War. I'm sure they weren't the first one, but it was kind of just like...
Man, the first one they put in the mainstream.
Yeah, they put it like on the map, and they started doing it, and then like suddenly every shooter had a Horde mode. I could definitely see that being a thing with these.
The answer to the C, because we're seeing people already copy PUBG in quotes.
Yeah. So props to PUBG.
Its growth is interesting.
Sure, we will be talking about it more. We've talked about PUBG a lot for a game that we haven't even been able to play.
Well, here's the thing, though. It took us forever to talk about it. That's something I've noticed, like from the people I listen to, and I'm mainly talking about Easy Allies and Kind of Funny. It took them a while to actually talk about it because I think they all figured it would just go away at some point.
I mean, I did too. Yeah. Everyone kind of did, and it was something like Easy Allies and Kind of Funny, and a lot of like the gaming sites, a lot of the gaming big gaming sites and podcasts are not really PC centric at all. Like a lot of them don't do PC, and barely at all. So this is probably one of those things that was like, it was big on PC, and they probably were aware of it, but it was kind of like, we'll go away. Eventually, PUBG got to the point where you can't stop, you can't not talk about it, you can't ignore it.
And in the defense of those guys, it's because it's their job. They got to play so many games. They probably didn't figure they had time for an online centric game.
And these Easy Allies and Kind of Funny are both like smaller teams where they're kind of just like this. You come to us for this, and we it's kind of like me and you. We're on a much much smaller scale than even though, but it's kind of like we're 2 guys, 3 with Will, 4 when we have like random other guests like Jacob. We can't know everything, or we can't play everything, so you kind of come,
especially
to
since this isn't our job. We have school and everything, so
exactly. But PUBG is just, I'm so fascinated by PUBG, and I want to play PUBG so much that...
Again, Darby, when it comes out on Xbox, we just get together and take turns.
Yes. I'm down.
Okay.
All right, Jeff.
Okay. Now, Darby, you know what I like talking about on here?
What do you like talking about on here, Jeff?
Sales data. We have 2 sales-related stories. You ready?
I am ready.
Okay. This comes from Alex Gieladov from IGN. Worldwide shipments and digital sales for Nier Automata has now exceeded the 2 million mark. This is the latest milestone for Platinum Games' critically acclaimed action RPG. In May, Square Enix announced shipments and digital sales of Nier Automata eclipsed 1.5 million units worldwide. The chain won't stop.
So happy for this game. Never would have expected that.
No, this is one of those games I expected to potentially be a cult classic.
Yeah, I mean, because
kind of like the original Nier.
Yeah, the original Nier did not sell very well as a cult, and to the point that people didn't expect there to even be another Nier, and it was kind of a surprise that there was one at all. And Nier had to come out in around Horizon and Zelda time,
and Nier and Persona and all that other stuff.
It was a time that killed some other good games, and even some Mass Effect Andromeda. I feel like even though it had problems, I feel like it would have performed a lot better if it didn't have to compete with us. But even despite that, Nier has been able to rise up and actually get to crazy success.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it just kind of speaks to how much effort was put into that game, and how much it...
Okay, I just checked to make sure because I was curious what came out. It came out the week Horizon came out, February 23rd.
That's crazy because that was not that. Then Zelda's very shortly afterwards.
Well, also that that week.
Yeah.
In a week time, Nier, Horizon, and Zelda, I think all came out.
And Nier wasn't too long before then.
Yeah.
And part of it is just somehow Nier's had long legs. With this, there's people still buying it, and people who
are still talking about it.
And people who are kind of wrapped up in ourselves still are. We haven't got to Nier yet, but who are wrapped up in Horizon and Zelda,
and then going into Persona and stuff. And everything else.
So you didn't get, but people are getting around to it now, and they're starting to talk about it. And I actually surprisingly know a good bit about Nier just because of all the podcasts I listen to and people talking about it. Some of the details in Nier are almost just like the people who made the game. I know the developers are really weird dude, but they must be very, very kind of almost crazy, particular and perfectionist and just like detail oriented to like probably a crazy degree, because some of the stuff in Nier is insane. Like some of the stuff they do, and like the little like Easter eggs and little like hints they do, and you can like you beat the game and you replay it and it's different, and then you replay it again and it's different. You can replay Nier 4 times and get like 4 different experiences. It's crazy. It's weird.
Yep.
Even like I listened to Kotaku the other day. I listened to their podcast with Jason Schreier. They talked about the fonts in Nier for a lot. They had a whole section about video game fonts. Very nerdy, weird discussion, but I liked it because that's what Kotaku does. Yeah. And they were talking about just Nier has like a very deep, like unique font. Like just everything about Nier is just exuding like every little detail in Nier is there for a reason. And kind of appreciate it.
Sounds good. It's good. Ready to move on, Darby?
I am, Jeffrey.
Okay, this comes from Tom Phillips from Eurogamer. Mamma mia! Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is now the best-selling third-party game on Nintendo Switch. It was on there. I had to read it.
That was in the article. That wasn't Jeff. I wish it was just Jeff, but it was not.
Yeah. Maybe I'll add a little more stuff like that as we go on. Okay. Okay, yeah. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, best-selling third-party game on Nintendo Switch. That's according to physical sales track from North American and Australian numbers company NPD, as well as UK company Chart Track GFK. It's not too surprising. There haven't been too many non-Nintendo physical releases which have stuck around on the chart. Although Super Bomberman R, Puyo Puyo Tetris, and Lego City Worlds have all made their mark. And that's not to say Mario Rabbids hasn't outsold at least one of Nintendo's own games, which include 1-2 Switch and ARMS, as well as the console's biggest launches, Zelda Breath of the Wild and Splatoon 2. In a sign of Nintendo's confidence in the game, the company has picked up the launch for publishing the game itself in Japan and South Korea.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's not out in Japan yet either, which is...
Okay.
But that's this is the thing, I don't know how it'll sell there.
Yeah.
Because Rabbidson,
Yeah, I guess Rabbid, another thing. I mean, like, the game style might work in Japan, but...
We'll see.
It's one of those. I was a little worried because like I'd heard obviously like the critical reception of Mario plus Rabbids has been amazing, but I hadn't like it wasn't on the charts for like last month, or like it at least wasn't.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and I'm not 100% positive. It's one of those things we should probably check. I don't think it may technically end at like the end of the month. It may have like a cutoff date.
Okay.
I think I saw that somewhere. Okay. I might be wrong.
Okay, that probably explains it. Because I was a little worried. I was like, oh, is this game not going to sell that way? You know, I was hoping it would sell to match its critical thing.
I say we definitely wait to NPD for September, and if it's not on there, that's when we're like, ooh.
Well, if it outsold ARMS, which that's what it said, right?
It's saying it might have because we technically don't have exact numbers.
Well, if it did, that's at least 1 million copies, right? Because ARMS sold over 1 million. Yeah.
Which, considering I guess how little technically systems the Switch is still sold overall and everything.
And this is probably a game that's going to have more like legs even more than the ARMS.
ARMS is it's kind of died really quick.
Yeah,
especially since Splatoon came out like right after
it. Because people won't stop talking about Mario plus Rabbids, and come the end of the year, I'm sure people were like not necessarily the game of the year, but people are going to be talking about how good Mario plus Rabbids is. Like,
I'll probably get a couple like mentions at least.
I'm sure. Yeah, some nominations.
And from what I'm seeing, it's one of those games that people don't have a Switch. Like Mario plus Rabbids now at the top of their list as one of the games to get.
Yeah.
Like with Mario and Zelda.
Especially it helps Mario plus Rabbids with like, not that there's it's a new console first year, but for there's not all that many Switch games, so it kind of gets to stand out more.
Well, especially I guess kind of bigger single player games, because a lot of. And this is, I guess, technically my main problem with Nintendo's Switch output. It's been a lot of multiplayer games, which I enjoy, but I like to have some single-player stuff in there as well. Yeah. We're starting to get them, but it wasn't, I guess, kind of split out between multiplayer and single-player as much as I would have liked.
Yeah, I agree.
But we're getting them now.
And about to mess up your dock.
Oh boy. So yeah, I'm very happy this game's selling well. It is great.
Yeah.
So, ready to move on, Dari?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how quick this is going to be. It depends on you, Dari. This comes from Chris Pereira from GameSpot. As a news piece of content, the headlining feature of, I guess, this past week's Overwatch update may be the Junkertown map. But more meaningful are the balance changes the patch makes. Among other things, these include the overhauls for both Diva and Mercy, both of whom play much differently. I think we talked about this before.
Yeah, we did. We talked about it, so I really won't go into it. Basically, just it's out. The update's out. Yep. So Mercy, the biggest news for me is that Mercy is like wildly different with her res ability is on a.
Oh yeah, I forgot that res is in her ultimate.
Yeah, it's not ultimate anymore. Yeah, you go one at a time, and it's on a cooldown now. Yeah. So it's a lot more about like choosing who you're gonna res and everything, and it's less about like you can't revive a bunch of people at one time, which I mean it could end up being really good, but it just changes everything. So like I'm gonna have to see. I really hope I like it because at this point like I play like almost exclusively Mercy, so if I don't like it, it could be bad. But her ultimate now she has this like crazy. She gets to fly around all over the map and heal people, like heal everyone at once.
And I know, like, if I remember when this was first announced, if I read it right, and remember right, her res instantly fills up when she does her ultimate.
I think so, yeah.
So, the strategy there, unless you just really, if you can, is res someone real quick, do the ultimate so you can res someone else.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. Yeah. I don't know if the cooldown is less during the ultimate or anything like that. I'm not sure, but...
I can't remember what D.Va is. I know they added a new move to D.Va.
D.Va, I know she can shoot missiles that she couldn't before. I think they said they're trying to make her more offensive than defensive. Like they tried to make her less of a defensive character and more of an offensive one.
So I'm going to die more, is what you're saying.
Probably. And Olivia's going to love that because Olivia's already offensive.
Well, I don't care what Olivia wants.
D.Va. Yeah. So I know she has these like new missiles, and I think her defense matrix is not as good or something.
Well, I don't use that anyway. I forget it's there.
Oh, you need to use that. It's very important. But apparently it's not going to be as good now, so you missed the opportunity.
I did fine with D.Va.
Yeah. That's it.
I survived.
That's it. It's out, so go check it out if you... I haven't been able to yet, but I plan to soon.
Okay, so... we went through a couple phases of this podcast. Let's go into the fighting game phase now.
We haven't had one in a while.
Yep. Some of these stories are longer than others, and the conversations... length will be different as well. So let's get started. This comes from Alex Osborne from IGN. Yamcha and Ten Shinhan, or Tien, will be featured in Dragon Ball FighterZ as playable characters. Yeah, I'm used to hearing Ten Shinhan now for Tien. I don't know if you remember, the Tien's the Lee-eyed guy?
Nope.
Okay. Bandai Namco revealed the new additions to the game's ever-growing roster in the latest issue of V-Jump, via Shonen Games. In addition to Yamcha and Tien, a new original character named Android 21 will be featured in the game, though it's unclear whether or not she'll be a playable character. According to Siliconara, I butchered that, whatever. Android 21 will play a significant role in Dragon Ball FighterZ main story mode. The new character, whose intelligence is on par with that of Dr. Jiro's, was designed by Dragon Ball creator Akira Toriyama. In addition to providing an early glimpse at Android 21, the magazine shows Yamcha using a Spirit Ball and Neo Wolfang Fist attacks, and Ten Shinhan using his Neo Tri-Beam Meteor Super. Also pictured is Chaozu, who will be featured in the game as an assist character for Tien. Chaozu's the Pokemon, Darby. I don't know if you remember from Dragon Ball Bridge, the little clown mime dude.
Kind of sounds familiar.
Yeah, I need to show you. But I am happy with this. Some people were pretty upset about more human characters being announced.
Wow.
I say those people are wrong. That's all I have to say about that. This guy.
The armor aliens. Oh, yeah, that dude.
Yeah, they wanted more Saiyans and other things. Like, hey, these humans actually have some of the most unique fighting styles.
Humans deserve spots, too.
Yeah, but I'm happy with these characters are in because they're just Dragon Ball overall staples, and they have very interesting fighting styles that I think could make for more interesting fighting style in a fighting game compared to like Vegeta and some other characters.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I'm kind of completely speaking from ignorance, but I feel like a lot of the like Saiyan characters, they can only be so different, like with their movesets. I feel like,
Yeah. I mean, they can be different if they try, but the problem is by the time Saiyans were introduced, a lot of it was who can make the biggest energy blast to dumb it down some. When Tien and Yamcha were more prominent, it was all about more interesting techniques and fighting styles.
Yeah.
So I think this makes for a better fighting game character. So it makes me happy.
Cool.
And I guess part of the main thing in this also is a new original character for the story mode, Android 21.
She looks very out of place.
Not too much.
So she's completely original?
Yes.
They made her?
Yes. People only knew she existed like a couple days ago.
It's kind of weird. I wouldn't have expected them to do that.
No, it was a pretty nice surprise. We don't know if she's playable, though, but...
Okay, we don't know if she has her own moveset or anything like that.
Yeah, we don't know if you can fight or play her, or if she's just going to be in the story. Either way, I'm happy because, well, we lack female representation in Dragon Ball in general.
Yeah.
So if they come up with another female character, more power to them, and they can do anything they want with her moveset, and that can make things interesting.
Yeah, they have complete.
And going back to the android stuff is cool that they do it right. And I'm just happy, and I think I can speak for about all Dragon Ball fans, where I'm happy they're doing something original instead of just retreading the story we've heard a million times. Because normally in the game, they start from the beginning Dragon Ball Z and go through the whole thing.
You just know. Like, yeah, you know everything.
So I at least don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I'd be cool if on top of, like, honestly, I feel like they could release Dragon Ball FighterZ with absolutely no story at all, and people would still, like, buy and eat it up. It would just be gravy if they actually have a good story on top of that.
And I've seen some stuff from Arc System story modes. Like, at least the animations are beautiful, so I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
And
So far, the animations look awesome.
Oh, yeah, I've watched a fair amount of gameplay from the beta from last week, and it just looks so good. And people have been loving it, so that's a bonus.
Awesome.
Okay. Now, let's talk about another fighting game. It actually came out this week. This comes from Alec Osborne from IGN. In anticipation for the impending launch of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, it's already out, like I said, Capcom has pulled back the curtain on the remaining 4 DLC characters that will be added to the lineup. Joining the game's sizable roster are Venom, Winter Soldier, Black Widow, and the Monster Hunter. Capcom is currently at work on these DLC characters, which will be added to the game sometime later this year. Also, for people who don't remember, the other 2 DLC characters, other than these 4, are Sigma and Black Panther. Black Panther and Monster Hunter being in the story mode for some reason.
So, Marvel and Friends.
Yeah. People who didn't notice, they're out of the 6, 4 are Marvel characters. And honestly, 2 of them are boring power-wise. Actually 3 of them are. Because we are Winter Soldier and Black Widow.
Yeah.
How many these? We don't need any more regular human characters with guns. I mean, that's part of my problem. Like, they got all these superheroes. They can, I don't know. They're going with the basic powers.
I mean, I know it's not a 1-for-1 thing, and it's different, and I'm not trying to say it's the same, but I just think it's funny how, like, literally 2 minutes ago you were saying, like, yes, like, we have the human characters, we don't need all Super Saiyans, and then a few minutes later you were like, why are they doing these human characters when we can have superheroes?
Exactly. See, kids, context matters.
I just thought that was so funny. Yeah. Like, it was literally the inverse.
Fair enough. I applaud that. But, since it's out, I'm seeing more gameplay from it. It looks fun. And in motion, this game, I think, is looking better.
How's the reception been? Because I honestly haven't been paying attention. But
I haven't looked too deep in this. I'm just going to, based on what I have seen / heard, like, as far as the gameplay goes, excellent. Okay. Like, that's not a great surprise, but
I'm sure the story's terrible, but
yeah, or
at least, you know, it can only be said. I mean, if it's self-aware enough, you know, but
yeah. Because I was sure I wasn't gonna get this until it's really like cheap.
Well, yeah, I guess you would kind of know. How was the story?
It's
because Jeff watched all the like
IGN poster. I was like, okay.
Oh.
I'm surprised IGN did it. It's like, it must be okay if IGN did it.
It's a fighting game, and they probably don't care. I guess don't spoil anything, but how was it?
I mean, here's the thing. It's a crossover thing, so of course it's going to be dumb.
Yeah.
But it can be good dumb or bad dumb. Some of it was pretty fun, but most of all,
It was okay dumb.
I guess. Some of the dialogue was not good. Or actually, a lot of the dialogue was not good. There was some... I don't know. It was just kind of weird. I don't feel like much happened. I don't feel like there was like any character development. I know there's a bunch of characters there, but you expect something. And this is not my place to say since I technically did not play it. And I guess I didn't see some of the transitions. But some things I heard that were kind of weird is, you know, you have all these characters together that are technically on your side. and then you're about to go into battle. So like let's say you have 8 characters technically on your team or whatever. You're about to go into a fight.
Right.
The game chooses like a preset 2 of them. You don't get to like choose them for what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And as mentioned before, Black Panther and Monster Hunter are in the story. That's not a surprise. They've been in trailers for this, so that's not really a spoiler. But they're DLC characters. They're not playable, or I don't think you fight against them either. They just try to do stuff to make sure, hey, you're a reason for them that you not actually see they're fighting.
Yeah.
So it's part of it seems this is something that was just kind of thrown together.
It's kind of what I expected.
Part of it was just dumb crossover fun.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for that stuff.
I mean, I'm interested if someone we know gets it, I'll try it. I mean, I still hate the art style, but
I mean, I'll say this. Down the line, because this will probably happen. When we get the Ultimate Edition and it's cheap, I'll probably get it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. If you get it, I'll try it.
Yeah. But that'll be down the road for sure.
I'm not good enough at fighting games to get multiple of them. I get basically NetherRealm fighters, and that's about it.
Yeah, it gotta be spaced out some because you got Injustice and I'll get Dragon Ball FighterZ, which will be about a year later. So
yeah, totally enough time.
Yep. Okay. Final fighting game. This is gonna be a quick thing. Okay, Raiden. I can never remember how you pronounce it in Mortal Kombat.
I say Raiden, but I might be wrong.
I just remember because there's. Okay, I'm just gonna call them both Raiden right now. Raiden in Mortal Kombat, and then Raiden in Metal Gear. And I remember specifically they were both pronounced different ways.
Okay.
So I could never remember which one's which.
I'm pretty sure Metal Gear is Raiden. I think, but
Raiden from Mortal Kombat sounds right.
I might be wrong, but that's what I think.
Raiden it is. Okay, Raiden trailer supposed to come out next month, so they're keeping their track of one DLC character a month.
Yeah.
For Injustice 2, we're talking about Injustice 2 by the way. In the trailer,
Jeff has not been very excited about the fact that they're putting Metal Gear. Not Metal Gear.
I mean, Metal Gear. I have no characters. That'd just be wacky as hell.
Mortal Kombat characters in Injustice 2, but there was a surprise.
Yes, there's gonna be a Black Lightning skin for Raiden. So with all the voices and change and everything, and the complete different model, and they're gonna change up the Super Sun.
Yeah.
So, in other words, there's no Raiden in Injustice 2. There's only Black Lightning.
As far as Raiden is dead, as far as Jeff's concerned.
I mean, it's good another round for throwing us DC fans a bone.
Yeah, they kind of snuck a DC character under Raiden, which
it should have been the other way around. Because I feel like it'd been better if they just say Black Lightning DLC character. Oh, by the way, we threw in this Raiden skin.
But they know this audience that has the game is more likely to buy it if they put Raiden there.
I know.
Yeah.
But again, at least they put the skin in because...
At least they threw you a bone there at least. It's not completely,
But, and also lucky for me, I don't know how it's going to be otherwise. It is free with, the Black Lightning skin is free with the Ultimate Edition, which is the one I have, so I am happy about that.
Oh, is it not? Does it cost extra for other people?
Probably, or you can do it with the currency in game, I assume.
Wow.
But I just get it unlocked, which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
I'm sure they proved that they did that specifically because people were not happy.
Probably, yeah. All right, we have to appease the army of angry DC fans.
Yes, appease us. Okay. So, I guess we'll go to kind of our final regular story.
Yes.
Okay, okay. We're sorry, guys. It's going to be potentially a jumbo mess because there's no article for this. Pretty much, we mentioned this last week. Doom was announced for the Switch.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it last week. Impressions were supposed to come out this week, and they've come out.
Yeah.
They're decently positive.
For the most part, pretty positive. I mean, there was IGN, Polygon, Games Radar, a bunch of different ones.
Game Explain, Easy Al.
Yeah, although, I think between me and Jeff, we saw, a bunch of different ones. And
Digital Foundry.
Yeah, for the most part, everyone seems to say, I think there's a few minor, downgrades, but for the most part, it's Doom.
Yeah. I don't know the number as far as resolution goes, but I know in handheld mode apparently it is 30 frames per second instead of 60.
Yeah.
So, but it seems from what I heard, other than a couple instances where things got really crazy, it was smooth throughout.
Yeah. And the 30 frames thing, I mean, it's kind of to be expected because the Switch is underpowered. In comparison.
Yeah.
And really, a lot of shooters are like. I'm not saying it's a good thing because, like, definitely when if you see a game in 60 frames and then you see that same game in 30, there's a big difference. Like, even us who are not big graphics people, I admit, like, it's a big difference. But a lot of shooters still, like, I think Destiny 2 is still 30 frames per second. A lot of them are. So it's not, I don't think that's the end of the world. Well, it's a little more for Doom because Doom is very fast paced, so it kind of affects it more.
But here's the thing about this. Odds are and this is mainly for Doom specifically and I guess other related kind of games. If you really care that much about the frame rate, you're going to really have it like probably on a PC or something if you're really that into it already. And this version of Doom, we can assume, they probably flat out said it at some point, is for people who A, only have a Switch, and B, who just really, really want Doom on the go.
Yeah, and
same thing for like Wolfenstein and all the other Bethesda stuff, which I've read a couple snippets from interviews from Bethesda people. They seem to be all in for the Nintendo. They even said straight out, hey, these aren't the only games we're working on for the Switch. This is only the beginning. We've been talking to Nintendo.
I'm going to be very interested because, like, it's weird. Like, let me know if you feel the same way, but I feel like I could see Doom on the Switch succeeding and having, like, everyone's like, cool, it's a very different type of experience on the Switch compared to everything else, and, get to play Doom and do all this. I could also see it failing because I think a lot of people who have Switches don't only have Switches. Like I feel like, especially right now in this first year, early adopter people, I feel like most people have a Switch and a PS4, or a Switch and an Xbox, or a Switch and a PC. And those people, I feel like if those people are into Doom, I feel like Doom's the type of game that, like, between the two, like, if I had between the two, you probably either already have it on your PC or PS4 or something, or you'll get it on that. So that's why I could see it not selling that well.
Yeah, I can see that. And I didn't read through everyone's opinions. I kind of, saw and everything, but Daniel Bloodworth from Easy Allies, and I think Andrea Renee from What's Good Games and Kind of Funny Games pretty much said this. Unless you want to play this on the go, there's really, and you already have like a PS4 and PC, like we're saying, there's really no point in getting this.
Not
unless
really,
you really wanted to go, or they also said, like we said, you only have a Switch.
I agree with that. So, like, if we think, like, obviously some people will double dip, but I don't think enough to put a huge, like, boom in sales. So, like, are there enough people who don't already have Doom but want Doom and have a Switch? Like, how big is that audience?
It's very interesting. It's kind of gotta wait and see, because there's also the people who may not already have Doom, but I don't know, for some reason it's very appealing for them to have it on the Switch for some reason. And that seems to be the case for some people.
I mean, the whole, like, on the go thing has, like, brought in more people than I thought it would. So, and, like, the Switch continues to surprise me in that respect. So
now tell me if you maybe feel the same way about this. I'm very interested in maybe how Doom will sell. I'm very interested in that, but I'm a little more interested to see how Wolfenstein does whenever that comes out, because Doom came out a year and a half ago. That, like, people didn't even know the Switch technically existed at that point. No. Wolfenstein's not out. We know it's coming to the Switch. I'm interested to see, like,
if people are going to wait.
If people are going to wait for that, because there are probably going to be some people, like, Doom is the way we'll probably get an idea of how these games will run, these AAA games, and, like, Bethesda games and stuff, and Skyrim as well.
Yeah.
Get some idea.
Yeah.
Like, Fear is like, okay, in handheld, yes, Doom is resolution, visually wise, turned down a little bit. Still looks pretty good from what I've heard, and obviously the frame rate is halved. But for people who really don't care about that as much, will they potentially wait for Wolfenstein 2?
Something about it, just that almost seems more likely to me than the Doom thing.
I feel like, but Doom's going to be very interesting. I think for like Wolfenstein's going to be the real test.
Yeah, I do. I wish that the Switch version could come out closer to the release of Wolfenstein for PS4 and Xbox and stuff.
Well, all we know is 2018.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
It technically could be February for all we know.
It could. Like, I hope it's soon. I hope it's early to 2018, because I want this tested. Like, I'm just so interested to see this. Like, more than most games, I'm interested to see the sales on that with the Switch. Because, like, this is the first real test we've had of this type of thing.
Hell, I'm going to be honest. I mentioned to you earlier, and this might be a surprise I even said. It's not just because it's on the Switch. I'm somewhat interested in Wolfenstein because it's a more story-based, story-heavy shooter. Especially when Wolfenstein's coming out, I'm willing to wait potentially to see how it is on Switch before getting a copy on anything.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big of a frame rate guy.
Yeah. I mean, with most games, like, with a lot of games, it's like, if you have the option to get on the Switch, I'm going to get on the Switch. With some things like shooters, maybe not. But, I mean, yeah, Wolfenstein would be a cool thing to have on the go, even, just to play through the story or something. Yeah. And, like, just talking about Wolfenstein, definitely, it kind of is scratching the Bioshocky type of, like, linear, story-driven first-person shooter thing that I feel like we don't get enough of.
That's what I mean.
That's
why I'm at least somewhat interested in.
I feel like most shooters these days are, like, your Destinies, like, or Overwatch, like these online games of service type things, but you don't get this as much. So, yeah. That was a good talk.
It was. So, yeah, we will definitely get more updates on... Well, Doom and Skyrim and Wolfenstein and all that kind of stuff, especially when they come out in sales. That will be a very interesting topic.
It will.
Okay, so we're bringing segment back, the infrequent segment of the That's Awesome News of the Week.
There's not always awesome news in the week, Jeff.
Yeah.
And sometimes we forget.
That's it. There's also going to be that's going to be That's Very Feelsy story.
Feelsy news of the week.
Okay, odds are if you listen to this, you've heard about this.
Probably, but I want to talk about it anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so, I guess partly so, hey, Dar, I got an idea, since, okay, warning, this is going to be a very long read. Why don't, Dari, for you know, Dari's writing down time, stuff right now. Why don't you put the after I'm done on there, so people who want to skip it. Who know the story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't feel bad about reading it all. Okay, so I'll just say what it is this time. We're talking about the whole Switch containing the NES golf game that's a tribute to Satoru Iwata.
Yes. Okay.
So I'm going to read the story from Kotaku, and I am very sorry I forgot to... Give me 1 second. This comes from Cecilia... D'Anastasio. I'm sorry. Good start, guys. Okay. When a Switch owner named Satoru told a gaming forum about how NES Golf randomly appeared on her Switch's screen, commenters accused her console of being haunted. Switch hackers' subsequent race to unearth NES Golf now indicates that there's a hidden game on the console, and actually, it appears to be a heartwarming tribute to the deceased Nintendo CEO Satoru Iwata. Iwata was a Nintendo icon, a demigod in the gaming world, after his face accompanied online Nintendo Direct's press conferences for years. Prior to heading Nintendo, Iwata was a programmer, working on games like Earthbound, Pokemon, and Super Smash Bros. Great list of games. Yeah. The story goes that after several developers turned down the task of developing the NES Golf, Iwata found a way to fit the game's 18-hole course into a cartridge modest memory. On July 11, 2015, Iwata succumbed to cancer at age 55. As Nintendo CEO, Iwata was known for his Iwata Ass columns on Nintendo's website and his appearance at major Nintendo events. Thanks to Nintendo Directs, he also became associated with a very specific gesture. And anyone who's seen Nintendo Direct knows what that is. They know exactly. Yes. Fast forward to early summer 2017, when hackers discovered a hidden NES emulator on the Switch referred to as Flog. Ars Technica reports. Ars Technica reported, we thought they had included it during manufacturing by mistake. Pluto, one of the Switch hackers who coordinated similar stunts over a private IRC, told Celica or whatever over Twitter direct message, but when we dug deeper, we found there was some suspicious code in the home menu. Last weekend, bored, Pluto decided to look into it. He says he discovered two intriguing details. The code looked for the date July 11th, and the code right before seemed to enable the Joy-Con 6-axis motion sensors. Apparently, the code was telling Pluto that Joy-Con enables secret handshake, in his words, unlocked something on July 11th on the Switch's home screen. And the motion laid out in the code's numbers, he said, appeared to match Iwata's famous Nintendo Direct gesture. Pluto and his co-conspirators knew that July 11th was the day Iwata passed away, and also that he programmed NES Golf back in the 80s. Also, obviously, that Flog is golf spelled backwards.
Very clever.
Okay, here's the problem. The Switch knows what day it is. As long as the Switch has been connected to the internet and updated, users can't seem to fool the system into thinking it's the day that will trigger golf to appear. An internet user going by Fiskerden, who follows the Switch hacking scene and was familiar with the golf rumors, happened to have an unboxed Switch lying around his house. He preferred his blue/red Joy-Cons to the gray ones he pre-ordered. And he said, I booted the unopened Switch up, did the setup procedure, and decided to try out the gesture which was posted. He explained over email. I simply put both Joy-Cons parallel to each other and pointed towards the ground, then raised them in a vertical position and waited. The screen turned blank and an audio cue was played, and then I was greeted with the golf menu. Several other Switch users have posted pictures of golf home screen on their console, but while there are about half a dozen published images of this hidden tribute to Iwata, Nintendo has yet to confirm it and has not responded to multiple requests for comment. We also don't know whether golf will be available on July 11, 2018. Hearing about the memorial, Kotaku East reporter Brian Ashcraft pointed me to the Japanese tradition of umamori, which refers to guide or protect. Traditionally, they are talismans made of silk and paper left at shrines. Now they're made out of all sorts of things, like toys and memory cards, which could help protect digital security. They channel spirits who will help guide the umamori owner. It's possible that somebody at Nintendo coded an NES emulator and golf into Switch, and every Switch, so that Iwata spirit can shepherd the console to success. So maybe Satoru is right. It was a ghost. The end.
Such just the most heartwarming story in the world. Sorry. Yes, you were right. I'm
sorry I ruined the moment.
I already forgot. Well, you go ahead because I'm messing up with the time.
Yeah, that's very good feel-good story. Feel-good story. Yeah, okay.
There's an awesome gesture for this guy that was just like such an icon in gaming. I remember like when he passed, it was just like I remember me, you, and like lots of other people we know like who like pay attention to games and stuff. Everyone was just sad and talking about it, and it was it was one of those you definitely look forward to every Nintendo Direct because he was going to be in there doing something goofy, whether it was
bringing the news directly to us.
Yeah. And this is just a great tribute to that.
And everyone knows this. Iwata was the guy who obviously loved what he was doing.
Yes. Yeah, clearly.
And he was the developer to begin with.
And clearly meant something to the people he worked with enough for them to make this type of this thing. So it's, and I love the I like the taco. I love the omamari. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but
I don't know if I was saying it right. Probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
Omamori. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just that whole story just made me so happy hearing about that. So yeah.
He is the reason the Switch is doing so well.
Yeah, I mean, he's a huge part of why Nintendo is where they are today at all. So, yep. So here's to Iwata. All right, Jeff, are you ready for the main topic?
We're gonna get more feelsy.
We might get more feelsy, Jeff. It's just we're just gonna keep going with the feels. Let me do another timestamp. I'm so sorry. Okay.
We got used to the story.
Yep, it's a whole new world, Jeff. All right, well, this main topic, I kind of don't know where it's going to go exactly, but the main topic just in the sentence is, why do we play games? Like, why do we play video games? And this is something, like, I've seen, like, a lot of podcasts and people talk about, like, do you play games, like people talk about playing games for like the escapism of it, like, whether it's if you're having problems in your life or whatever, if it's something to like, get away for a while, or is it just like, do you kind of just view video games as just kind of like people going to see a movie, doing everything, and even like movies and TV shows, I feel like all of it has an element of escapism to it. Anything where you're watching something, you are taking a break from your life to do this. And basically where I like came to this topic was this week when I was playing Life is Strange. I had earlier this week, I was just, me and Jeff are both in college. College comes with lots of stress, lots of just kind of worrying about the future.
Lots of drugs.
Yeah, so many drugs. Just an endless amount of drugs.
Yes.
No. It just comes with lots of uncertainty and lots of, just needless stress that you kind of just put on yourself. So with that, like this week, I was kind of feeling that. And I was feeling a little down for no particular reason, just kind of just stressed about the future and worried about a lot of things, just lots of different things. And I was, the night when I did play Life is Strange, I was feeling a little down. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but it was like 7 or 8 o'clock, and like I wanted to go to bed. I just kind of wanted to sleep and sleep it off, but like it's 7 o'clock, I can't go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I wanted to play a game. It was like I had Life is Strange there. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. Do I want to play Persona? I don't really want to play that. And eventually, I kind of just made myself. I'm like, all right, we'll play Life is Strange. Like I'm gonna make myself do something even if I don't want to.
Usually productive, Darby. Play Life is Strange.
Yeah. And once I got in there, I was really happy I did, because it kind of, like I said at the top of the show, Life is Strange is a very emotional game, and it's, Chloe being her, like, angsty, like, teenage self and, like, very unsure about things. And I got, like, really wrapped up in it, and, like, I kind of appreciated it. I appreciated being able to take a minute to, live in Chloe's uncertainty and Chloe's anxiety about things. And it's not like feeling, it's not like this happens, like, every single time I play games, I'm playing it to, kill a bad mood or to, like, empathize with something. But it did. Like, in that moment, I really did connect with it. And it kind of, like, I had similar vibes to what I was feeling. And it was really nice to, like, have that connection. So, I guess I just wanted to, like, just generally talk about that. About just the concept of playing games for escapism. And, like, have games ever, like, gotten you through a hard time in your life, or like, something where you were able to turn to, whether it's the story or whether it's just the, actual act of, not, of just being able to play a game and not having to worry about things.
There's one story in particular. I'm gonna get really feelsy here. I might cry. I'm sorry.
We're getting real, you guys. There's Large getting real.
Okay, I'm already starting.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
We'll see how this goes. I mean, it's too intelligible. You can cut it out, I guess.
It's fine. You can do whatever you want. You can go as far as you want.
2 years ago, my dad passed away.
Yeah.
And on that day, Tearaway Unfolded came out.
Yeah. I know you loved it on the Vita before then, right?
Mm-hmm. I didn't expect to play it as soon as it came out, but again, he passed on that exact day. Yeah. Came home, obviously wasn't feeling great. Decided to put it in. Don't know why I felt great. It's a happy little game. I'm sorry.
It is. And I mean, like, so. I mean, so it's a very, like, I never got to play Tearaway.
Yeah.
I never got to play Tearaway. But it's, I mean, like, I look at it and it just exudes charm. It makes me happy just looking at it. And, yeah, I mean, so did that help?
Yeah, it did big time. I was able to kind of forget about everything that was going on, and there was a lot of other mess. I'm not going to, obviously, Darby knows, but I'm not going to go into here that happened around that to do with it. But again, just a very happy game, and I know it's a very milling game, like as far as review goes, how people feel about it, but
yeah,
it's a game that always means something very important to me.
It's one of those, I think they can hit you at a time when you really connect with it. I've had some times when, you know, when something like really bad happened, and it's something like, I think we all make fun of me for it, for my love of Sly Cooper, and I'm sorry, I'll go back to it. But the Sly games are one of those that, honestly, if something like terrible happened tomorrow, or like I lost someone or something happened, there's a good chance I'm just gonna go play that. I'm just gonna put in Sly, and this has happened before when I've been like, when I'm trying to forget about something, I just don't even want to comprehend what's going on. I'll put on Sly Cooper, or I'll put on like Final Fantasy VII, and just something like, I'm barely even paying attention to it. Like the original Sly, I could do that probably in my sleep at this point. I've played it so many times. And I don't even know if it's just a dumb little kid's game for the PS2 that's not even written that well.
Same for Tearaway.
Yeah, it's not even written that well. A lot of it's nostalgia, but just something about it is comforting.
Yeah.
And something about the bright happiness of it, the like corny dialogue between the characters and everything. And just thinking about my childhood, something about playing it just kind of puts my mind at ease. And I do feel like that's something that gaming has that I don't have I don't have the same sort of memories for even movies and stuff like that. I can't think of an equivalent of something that could, like, you know, I do feel like games are something special that can like help me through that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like for us, obviously, we're sitting here doing a freaking a podcast that we're an hour and 40 minutes into about video games, episode 25 of it.
More than that, technically.
Yes, yeah, there was like 8 test episodes and a bunch of E3 reacts, but
yeah,
I think it's obviously something special to us too. Mm-hmm. I think, and I think a lot of people feel that way. It's something, I don't know if it's the story. It's not like Sly Cooper has a very compelling story.
Tearaway obviously didn't really have a story.
No, but it's something just like, I do feel like it's something that it's therapeutic. It can be very therapeutic in that way. And that's why I appreciate them, you know.
Sorry my stuff is a jumbled mess.
No. I think this is great. I think it was wonderful. I mean, I didn't know how deep, how like, you know, how real this was gonna get, but I like it. I mean, I think it shows. It shows how this medium can, you know.
So pretty much what I'm saying is, don't bad talk Tearaway Unfolded to me.
Yeah. You better watch it. Remember what you.
Great game.
Yes, it is an awesome game. And yeah, I mean, I guess do you view video games as something different than like a TV and film?
Kind of, yeah. Apparently, I think it's something a lot of people consider it different than TV and film, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
The general people feel like, oh, it's just more of a waste of time. Like, they'll say, video games are a waste of time. Go home, watch TV for hours on end.
Hours and hours and hours, yeah.
And obviously for us, like we've been saying, video games are more an escape for us, and something that, you know, you said very well. It does stuff for us that, for the most part, there are exceptions that TV and film can't do.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think it's because, you know, it really takes your mind and body off of it. You have to focus on doing, you know, doing a certain thing.
Kind of like we were talking about, going way back to early podcasts with Tomb Raider and stuff, while, like we were talking about Tomb Raider and Uncharted, why they really work as games. If you just insert the story and stuff into the movie, it does not do anything because you're quote unquote living it.
Yeah,
you're in control of it all. Like there's plenty of stuff like What Remains of Edith Finch. We just watched that. We just watched the stuff unfolded. It'd be garbage. But the fact we were in control of it all, right, resonated with us emotionally.
Exactly. It kind of adds it, and that's what I don't really necessarily know if that, like, because people, in a lot of times I agree with them, but people will say like video game stories actually aren't good. They're just full stop, or like they're not as good as movie and stuff. I'm like, I don't know if that's true. It's just that the story and the game, the playing it, are kind of intrinsically tied to each other.
Yeah. taking away, let's say, Telltale games, all that stuff real quick.
Yeah,
those kind of games. The way video games are played, Uncharted and Tomb Raider, we'll just keep those examples, are so much different that the story doesn't necessarily have to be like you would be in a movie.
Right.
Which, means, if you just look at the story as a whole, just take out the gameplay and just look at the story. Probably isn't as good, but whatever. The gameplay stuff is what connects it all together.
But that's part of it, yeah. There's a reason why it's not just something you're just watching there.
Using Uncharted Naughty Dog games as something, what makes the story even better is during the gameplay, the commentary between characters and stuff, like them going off each other, which isn't technically part of the story. You would see, like if you just watch the cutscenes.
Right, but I do feel like sometimes like games, because of that, can have like better character development sometimes than you know some movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, or at least you
just feel like you've like experienced something with some of these characters, especially you take like JRPGs when we've spent like freaking 80 hours with these characters. By the end of it, even freaking Tales games where like the story is not the best, but like by the end of it,
it's anime BS. But I love anime BS.
But like Tales of Zillia 2, by the end of it, like there was a bad ending in Tales of Zillia 2, and I was legitimately like affected by that. I was like, because I cared about those characters by the end of it, So I do think spending just the sheer amount of time you spend with them in games can change that. Yeah. This topic kind of like just went in a bunch of different places, but I like it. I like it. Mm-hmm. Well, do you have any lasting?
No, I don't think so.
Comments on this discussion? I kind of, I think I was gonna hit some other point, but I kind of already forgot what it was. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, anyone listening, let us know, like, why do you play games? Like, what attracts you to, playing them? Do you play them for escapism, or do you just, is it just something you do?
It's a hobby.
Have you never really thought about it before? It's one of those things you don't really think about it that often, but, why are we doing the things we're doing? Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Well, Jeff, that was a good one. I like that whole podcast. I mean, like the whole thing. That was pretty.
You got into the right way, Darby. Before goals. That probably won't get done.
It's probably not. Especially you, because you'll make like 9 of them.
Is that a challenge?
All right, Jeff, what you got?
I'm probably going to just keep the same things as last week.
Or
Life is Strange. 2 weeks in Persona, why not? And I'll just say beat the normal third world and Mario plus Rabbids, not the extra stuff.
Okay.
Beat the boss of the world.
I'm gonna have number 1. I want to spend some time with the new Overwatch update and play with friends. I don't know how to quantify that. I don't know. I'll gain 2 levels in Overwatch. There you go.
Ooh, wait. Okay, once you're done, I have a dual goal for us.
The Fortnite?
Yeah. We can try that Thursday or Friday or something.
Yeah, just find time to play Fortnite, period, full stop. And, sure, I'll say just get, not the 2 weeks because I'm in the palace right now, but, like...
So am I.
Get a little bit into the palace. There's no way I'm getting 2 weeks of Persona.
No, that attitude. Once you get out of the palace, man, it flies by. You're doing some schoolwork, man. You're chatting up some girls.
Yeah.
Fast.
I want to at least... All right. In Persona, I've been trying to do the confidant thing with An, but I don't have enough guts or whatever the heck it is to talk to her.
Oh, yeah. I know, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just did the job at the flower shop or something, if that's the right thing.
Yeah, I have a job at the convenience store.
But you can get, like, multiple jobs.
Yeah, no, I just haven't done that.
Might as well just get jobs everywhere.
Yeah.
Be a whore.
Job whore. So, I guess I'll do that. That will be something I can quantify in Persona 5 is talk to An. Be able to actually speak to An.
That's the lamest goal ever.
That's pretty lame.
I'm going to talk to this virtual girl.
Oh, we have problems. I have problems. I don't know. Well, thank you, everyone, for listening to the podcast this week. I don't know, plug all the other stuff. Nerds at Life Spoilercast. It's other podcast feeds.
Be excited for potential Life is Strange, Before the Storm Spoilercast, BoJack Horseman.
Yep.
I don't know.
And potentially Will on that Life is Strange. On both of those.
On both those.
Potentially. So, look forward to that and look forward to future other things like that. And just stay tuned to our YouTube channel because we're going to try to start putting some cool stuff up there.
Mm-hmm. And look at our website blog thing.
Yes, www.nerdsatlarge.wordpress.com and check out all the things that we write. Mostly me and Will right now, but Jeff's going to try to put some stuff on there.
I'm going to write it frequently because I'm actually not a good writer.
Not with that attitude, you're not.
It's not my attitude, trust me.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you very much.